Before we watch the video, I want you guys to tell me if you think this take is cringe or not. Electoralism is not and has never been the apparatus through which radical progressives in this country have brought about significant, substantial change. Electoralism has always been about maintaining some level of not normalcy, but some normal level of status quo so that things don't regress, while progressives, through direct action, protest, getting their way into government themselves, would do physical, tangible things in the world to make progressive change happen in this country. That's my opinion of electoralism. Electoralism, at the end of the day, isn't how we're going to achieve socialism. As much as I want socialism to be achieved, I think it's probably going to happen through some kind of proletarian revolution, whether it be a violent revolution or one in which the system is overrun by progressives that manage to destroy it from the inside and rebuild it. Which I guess could be done electorally, but probably not. It would have to be through, like, people like Dylan Burns, for example, who's working his way into government, who's the youngest foreign policy advisor in the country, or in the history of our country, like him getting into government as a leftist. That's like a big step of it. People doing things like that. That is how we're going to achieve massive, radical, political change. And then we also radicalize people through direct action, protests, things like doing what I do, like making content that radicalizes people to the left. That is how we influence real political change. The problem is, that's not how fascism works. Fascism can be achieved electorally. It has been. Historically, fascists, almost every famous fascist that's come to power was elected. Like, I'm pretty sure Hitler was elected, right? Or the party that he represented was elected. Like, it's almost always fascists come into power through the system. Like, right-wing reactionaries are really good at playing the system to take power. Problem is, lefties can't do that. So, for us lefties, electoralism has basically become, and will always be, our way of trying to prevent fascists from taking power, while we try to progress society further left and more progressive. And that is why I advocate for people to vote for Biden against Trump in November if you're American. Second term Trump will be unquestionably worse than Biden could ever be. Unless Biden is secretly like a closet ultra-fasci mega Hitler, second term Trump, a lot worse than Biden could ever be. So, while I'm not vote blue no matter who, like, for example, if it was Bloomberg instead of Trump, like Bloomberg versus Trump, you know, like, I don't know. Okay, Bloomberg versus Trump would have been a whole different story, you know. So am I vote blue no matter who? Kinda, depending. In this current situation, yes. But we got a video by this guy here. It's called "Why Voting Blue No Matter Who is a Dumb Idea." Let's watch it.
The 2020 presidential...
Is this Trainwrecks TV like 10 years ago? I feel like this is a teenage Trainwrecks. Does anybody else get that impression? I don't know why, but I'm getting like massive Trainwrecks TV vibes from this guy.
Race is shaping up to be a spectacular battle royale. On one corner, you have the demented pedophile, and on the other corner, you have the orange demented pedophile.
There's no evidence to suggest that Biden is a pedophile. This is a weird thing that lefties are doing lately. Like, guys, please, my mom does this. And you know, you guys know how much I hate my mom. My mom will do this thing where she'll hate somebody for good reason, but then because she already dislikes that person, she comes up with excuses to hate that person more. Oh, hi, Vermin. I pop in. The first thing I hear is pedophile, so I know it's gonna be good. True. But my mom will do this, right? Like the other day, I went out into like I went and I visited my mom because my AC had broken, right? I went and I visited my mom, and I was like, hey, Elon Musk is an asshole because we both hate Elon Musk. Although my hatred of Elon Musk is somewhat recent as of me becoming a leftist, you know. And my mom's always hated Elon Musk, and we're like shit talking Elon Musk together, and I thought it was gonna be nice. It was gonna be a good time. And then she says, "Yeah, I hate that Elon Musk. He's never even been able to land one of his rockets." And I was like, "Wait, yeah, he has." And she's like, "No, he hasn't." And I was like, "Well, no, he has." Wait, there's plenty of stuff to hate Elon Musk about, but I mean, to be fair, like it's not even Elon Musk that landed the rockets. It was his engineers and stuff that work for him. Like you're just taking away an achievement from the people who work for him. He like the rocket did land. Like, why are you making this up? And she's like, no, they didn't. He's never landed a rocket before. This is fake news. And I was like, Mom, you can just Google it right now. They land, like, he's landed multiple rockets, or he's landed multiple rockets. I mean, like, you can criticize somebody and like hate somebody without having to make shit up about them, right? And then she started like freaking out, and that was basically where that went, because me and my mom cannot get along, which is why I'm very glad that I do not have to deal with her every day. But this is something that people will do where they'll hate somebody, and lefties do this too, where they'll hate somebody and they'll just make shit up about the person they hate when there's already plenty of reason to hate them. Like, there's plenty of reason to hate Joe Biden as a leftist. There's no reason to call him a pedophile. Like, he's just a creepy, like, yeah, he's been like a creepy weird old man, like around like his granddaughter or whatever. Like, I think it was his granddaughter, but I don't think that's evidence enough to say that he's a pedophile. Even the accusations from Tara Reid are shaky at best. They're not 100% verifiable. There's been holes in the story. I personally side with it and think it probably happened, but even then, I'm not gonna call him a fucking pedophile. It's just so weird. Like, you don't have to lie about somebody to shit talk them. Like, especially Joe Biden. There's plenty of reason to shit on Joe Biden. Will you debate fellow traveler? Yeah, I'd debate him, I guess, yeah. Yeah, mom hates solidarity, true.
On one hand, Joe Biden, who is fundamentally unequipped to be our president due to his severe cognitive decline, and
Sure.
Donald Trump, the reality TV star.
Interesting how leftists are unironically making Trump sound good and whitewashing Trump. I'm pretty sure this guy's a leftist, right? Like, his like channel logo, he's definitely a tanky. Like, look at his logo. Interesting how this literal tanky, yeah, is this train wreck? That's what I said, Vermin. That's what I said. Is this a young train wreck? So I first started. Interesting how a leftist is whitewashing Trump to make Biden look bad. Imagine doing that, saying, oh, Trump is just an orange reality TV star. He's, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? You know, he loves getting up to his antics. He's kind of bad, but, you know, Biden is in severe mental decline, is unfit to run this country. And Trump is just a silly old reality TV star. It's not like he's a literal fucking fascist. All right.
It's funny to me that for all this talk of electability and beating the big bad evil dude, the candidate who is obviously...
Oh shit, Femboy Income, thanks for the $5, my friend. Do you think they'll keep Biden to the keep Biden to the convention? If not, who will replace him? Well, of course they're gonna keep Biden in the convention. If not, I don't know, maybe like who would they have replace him? I feel like they would have like who, like, maybe it wouldn't be Bernie. Bernie was like the second runner up. I don't know. Cuomo? Yeah, Cuomo, yeah, maybe. Yeah, thanks for $5, buddy. I love you. Yeah, Trainwreck's lefty cousin. Okay, Trump is literally the big bad guy. He's literally like a fascist who is the president of the country. Like, Trump didn't Trump just roll something out where doctors were gonna be allowed to restrict or deny? No. He's rolling out a thing, I believe, or at least trying to, where doctors will be able to deny service to trans people and like and whatnot during this pandemic. Right now, in his first term, he's banned trans people from the military. He said women should be punished for getting an abortion. And if RBG dies while he's in office, she will be replaced with a Republican. We'll have a Republican-leaning stacked Supreme Court. I can even go down the fucking line. The dude's like an open, proud fascist. Hate crimes have like skyrocketed under his presidency. Guys, you gotta bite the bullet and vote for Biden, okay? If you care at all about a fascist not being in power, bite the bullet and vote for fucking Biden. Yeah, Vermin. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was in the hospital. She was hospitalized a couple days ago for a gall issue. She's fine now, but like, people have been saying, oh, I'm sure she's like 97 years old or whatever, but I'm sure she'll make it another 4 years of Trump. No, she won't. I bet all my money that I've ever made streaming that RBG doesn't make it to 2024. As much as I want her to, as much as I'd love for that, she's not going to make it to 2024. No way she lives over 100 years. I'm sorry. How old is she? She's either 88 or 98, I believe. Hold on. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's 87. Do you think she could live to be like 92? What it would be, 91, 92 years old? Do you want to bet on that? Are you willing to bet Roe v. Wade and a stacked Republican Supreme Court for the next lifetime on someone being able to survive to 91? Chomsky's 91? Yeah, and I don't think Chomsky has that much left in him, to be completely honest with you. Guys, I hate to break it to you, but, guys, I really hate to break it to you, but I don't think Noam Chomsky, who is 91 years old, has that many years left in him. I hate to say it, but he doesn't. Local Supreme Court judge too angry at fascist president to die? True.
Most fit and most capable of doing that, Bernie Sanders has taken the knee and is now genuflecting at the altar of the Democratic establishment, backing their pre-selected NPC candidate.
No, Bernie Sanders isn't a fucking idiot. He realizes that the fascist that's in power needs to get out of office, and that there was no way that he could mathematically win the election at the point that he was in when he suspended his election. He's not bending the knee to the Democratic establishment. He's recognizing there is a larger, more dangerous enemy and uniting against that enemy with common ally. What the fuck is this shit? How I listen. I understand Destiny now. I understand why Destiny hates lefties so much. If this was everything that if I was Destiny and every lefty that I talked to acted like the lefties Destiny has talked to, like this guy, like what's his name? The guy running for Congress. What was Joshua for Congress, and Caleb Maupin, and all these fucking tanky class reductionists and just overall incompetent shits. If this was everybody that I fucking ran into and I was in Destiny's position, I would be a fucking bitter liberal that hates lefties. Like, I can't blame them for being in this position. Seeing people like this makes me ashamed to be a leftist. I'm not even kidding. Bernie or Busters make me ashamed of being a leftist, because it makes me feel like I'm part of a political group of fucking idiots that don't know anything about getting together to defeat a common enemy. It tells me that I am part of a political group that will always lose because they're too fucking stupid to recognize the larger, worse evil in a situation. The left is fucking addicted to losing. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about the left. Why is the left so addicted to losing? Is like the broader leftist movement like some sort of fucking abused, battered housewife with a Stockholm syndrome that just can't get enough of getting backhanded by the right? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm mad. I need the fucking Xander God emote in my website ASAP.
So first and foremost, I want to challenge this narrative that Donald Trump is somehow the worst thing to have ever happened to this country in the history.
All right, nice. We're getting a leftist defending Donald Trump. I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Of America, and that we must.
And that's a straw man, by the way. No one's saying Donald Trump is the worst thing to ever happen to America. Literally, we're saying that Donald Trump's a fascist, and he's the worst of two evils. Why is he, that's like the most obvious straw man I've ever seen.
Absolutely beat him at all costs. I don't doubt the guy has implemented a great deal of reactionary policies that are very damaging to the working class.
A couple. Oh, he's a class. Oh, how much do you want to bet this guy's a class reductionist? All he cares about class. You know what? No, this guy's definitely a class reductionist. That if that's like the first thing that he brings up is hurting the middle class or the working class, that he's probably a class reductionist. He might even be a Nazgul, actually. My mom thinks that Trump is literally America's Hitler. He could be. Second term Trump is going to be a lot worse than first term Trump. If you think Trump is already bad, whew, oh boy, you guys have no idea what's coming in the next 4 years when Trump doesn't have to worry about getting reelected, and when Trump already knows that he can get impeached and nothing will happen. He's invincible now. If he gets reelected, nothing's getting him out of office. If he goes off the rails more than we could ever expect in his second term. He's been impeached, and he got away scot-free. Nothing can stop Trump if he gets reelected. Nothing.
But what do you expect? It's the President of the United States. If you look at Donald Trump's policies and compare them to any of our last few presidents, you'll find that Trump really isn't that much different from any other standard Republican, or even Barack Obama for that matter.
Excuse me, but there is more to a president than their policies on their platform. The way that Donald Trump has behaved and the way that he is, like, that he has operated this country has resulted, like, I mean, right now we can talk, also, it's not even true. That's, like, not even close to true. Donald Trump is, like, on policy is way fucking worse. Hold on, where's... Hold on, I gotta hide my... Listen, chat, I follow a lot of sex workers on Twitter. I can't show my, my Twitter on stream, okay? Be a bad idea. Here, where's Scuffed Dario? I mean, if we want to compare the actual policies, this chart isn't 100% accurate from what I've been told, but it's still pretty damn accurate. And I'm sorry, anyone who tries to claim that Biden and Trump on the policies are basically the same is a brain-dead moron or dishonest. You can compare it. Sanders and Biden compared to Trump. I'm sorry. The idea that Trump is just like any other, even a Democrat president is fucking garbage. Not to mention that there's more beyond policy to being a president. You also have to consider the way that they actually operate the country. Donald Trump is responsible for that, for there not being enough PPE masks in reserve for this coronavirus epidemic. Trump is the reason why our country wasn't prepared for this virus. Why now, what is it? How many deaths from corona? Corona, death, America. We are at how many total cases? We're at 1.29 million confirmed cases in America. Deaths, we're at 76,000 deaths confirmed from corona in the United States alone. Donald Trump is responsible for these deaths of Americans, members of the only country that matters. Yeah, we got the high score. Hell yeah, America's best at everything. This is Trump's fault. Do you want to go through the other shit he's done? I know this guy's like a class reductionist, clearly. Like, he's a tank, he doesn't care about, like, brown people or like, trans people or minorities or anything like that. Yeah, Trump has banned trans people from serving in the military, which, as dumb as the military is, I am still in favor of arming trans women and people in general to have some... Like, if someone wants to serve in the military and they're trans, let them serve in the military. I think they should be allowed to. But even if we go beyond that, yeah, armed trans women. Even if we go beyond that, the implication behind Trump saying, I think it was, transgender individuals will no longer be able to serve in the United States military in any capacity. The implication of that is, do you guys know how many chefs and graphic designers and custodians there are in the military? If Trump thinks that trans people can't serve in any capacity, that includes jobs like being a cook. The President of the United States thinks trans people are unfit to basically do anything. That's pretty fucking scary. But I guess I'm a liberal because I care about like trans people and like brown people and stuff.
George Bush Jr. ran a record-high deficit at $3.3 trillion, with Obama breaking that record at $6.9 trillion, and with Trump's recent tax cuts a couple of years back, is currently running a $3 trillion deficit.
Okay, so holy shit. This guy knows nothing about fucking how I'm 20 years old and don't know jack shit about like electoral like government politics. For starters, deficit is not the same as debt. Running a deficit with a country is not like, oh, we owe them money. Like, oh, it's like owing a bank money or owing a friend money. Not the same thing. Deficits aren't really a good measure of where our country is in good standing. We have deficits with certain countries. Got a big trade deficit with I think China, but they're our number one business partner. There's not really any point like. It's not really relevant, right? We're not going to stop trading with China, and China's not going to stop trading with us. We're each other's biggest trading partners. So deficit isn't even like an argument. This isn't like an argument for hurting the middle class. Not to mention our deficit in having trade with China causes, because we outsource so much of our manufacturing, means that products here in America are way cheaper because they're built in China for really cheap. The fact that you're able to afford a phone and be poor. If you're a poor person, you can afford a phone. It's almost solely because of outsourcing. On top of that, the deficit under Obama, or I assume he's referring to the recession. The recession and the deficit we faced under Obama was because of things that Bush did. Bush was the era of trickle-down economics. This is basically a pretty well-known thing that usually, depending on the length of the terms, the effects of the previous president's actions don't really start to become apparent until the next president is in power. And so usually the actions of the previous president are attributed to the current president. When in trickle-down economics really fucked up our economy. For those that aren't aware, trickle-down economics as a principle is basically an idea that we tax corporations and rich people less, and then they'll just decide to pay their workers more, and their workers will make more money because they'll just be able to afford to. So why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they pay their workers more? I don't know. All right, this guy is a fucking idiot.
The drone program began under Bush, but was massively expanded under Obama and then massively expanded yet again under Trump. The defense budget...
Okay. Trump got 2 different warnings for Corona, once as early as 2017 from the U.S. Army. It's all Trump's fault. I mean, yeah, he's literally like... They had a pandemic task force. It was a task force in the government, in the U.S. government, prepared and ready for a pandemic. Their job was to be on-the-ground protection during the event of a pandemic happening, and Trump suspended them, years ago. And he chose not to refill the PPE mask reservoir or stocks for the government and for healthcare workers for the last 3 years he's been president, before this pandemic happened.
It has been increasing linearly for decades, rising from $614 billion per year under Bush to a peak of $805 billion under Obama after accounting for the costs of the Iraq and Afghanistan war, and is currently floating around $750 billion under Donald Trump.
This is interesting. I like how Bernie or Busters will just list bad things about Biden, and whenever you bring up something bad about Trump, they just say, haha, orange man bad. It's hilarious to me. Oh, Gabrielle Marin, thank you for the 5 USD. I love you, buddy. Thank you so much. Says, Bernie or Bust reeks of privilege, pisses me off. It makes me want to self-emote in Minecraft. Yeah, Bernie or Busters are extremely privileged. There's 3 categories of Bernie or Buster. Brain dead emotional moron who doesn't care about consequentialism, like the consequences of their actions, and they're just fucking stupid. They vote on principle rather than voting based on the outcomes of what their vote is going to do. Class reductionists that hate brown people and gay people, and all they care about is accelerationist memes to maybe make capitalism degrade quicker and just accelerate faster towards fascism, because if we do that, then maybe people will realize fascism is bad, right? And 3, people who are secretly right-wingers that are psyops and infiltrating the left and pretending to be lefties who are burning or bust, and they're really just trying to get Trump reelected. I'm pretty sure there's a fair amount of people who are openly burning or bust, like on Twitter and shit. They're just right-wingers pretending to be lefties, and they're like, yeah, guys, Bernie dropped out. We should all vote for Trump or let Trump get elected to really stick it to the DNC, huh? Yeah, hey, that's how you beat. That's a real leftist right there.
Bush voted for the bailouts at the taxpayers' expense during the recession of 2008. Obama voted for the bailout.
All right, this guy talks too slow, and he's giving non-arguments. We're speeding it up. 1.5 speed. My big brain is ready.
At the taxpayers' expense during the recession of 2008. And Trump's stimulus package is looking to be a $4 trillion giveaway to Wall Street here in the current 2020 recession. The concentration camps for asylum-seeking refugees existed under Bush, with populations exploding under Barack Obama, and then exploding yet again under Donald Trump.
Notice, the funny thing is, notice how they've exploded more under Trump in his 3 years than they exploded under Obama in his years. Yeah, so Trump got elected in 2016. They dropped towards the end of Obama's run. So what is this? Like, we started around here, ended around here, got up to here at peak. This is like, if we consider this peak and we see this, in Obama's 8 years, this is the max that we got. In Trump's 3 years, this is where we are. I'm sorry, Obama wasn't good, but Trump is and will be worse. Look at this spike. This is like, at least with Obama, the curve got a little flattened, unironically, towards his the end of his second term. By now, like, look how flat the rise was at this point in Obama's election. For Trump, it's just going, ooh, right up to the fucking stars. And it's going to go higher. There's going to be a lot more children dying in those concentration camps in the border if we let Trump stay in power for longer.
Trump. All three presidents, Bush, Obama, and Trump, voted for increases in the degree to which the government can spy on you, violating your privacy rights, as well as pushing for stricter regulation of the internet with the eventual repeal of net neutrality under Donald Trump. None of them are in favor of Medicare for all, or raising wages, or tuition-free college, or ending the war on drugs, or building up our infrastructure, or doing anything to meaningfully tackle climate change.
So as you can see...
No, actually, Biden has said that he's actually willing to do something about climate change. We already brought up the graph that shows their policies and their positions on these different things. The idea that Trump and Biden are exactly the same, and Bernie was this black sheep who was unlike all of the other Democrat figures, and he was super different. It's like, sure, Bernie was overwhelmingly progressive when it came to... There's a reason why the DNC didn't like him. But let's not pretend like Bernie was like a different universe away from Joe Biden. Could you link the chart? Yeah, give me a second. I gotta switch over to this. Don't want to show any booby on stream and get banned. Where's Scuff Dario? There he is. Alright, I'm putting a link to the chart here. Show us booby, not on stream. Alright. Let's see. Climate change. Here it is. Believe it or not, Bernie is anti-nuclear power, and Biden is for it. Trump is also against it. Bernie and Biden are both in favor of the Paris Climate Accords. Trump is not. And they're willing to pay farmers off on climate. I'm pretty sure this has to do with, like, when it comes to most of the issues, as we can see, even climate change issues, Biden's not perfect. He's far from perfect. But he's not Trump. I think, yeah, you bribe farmers to make it so that they don't fuck up the climate more. Alright, let's continue.
Donald Trump's policies are little more than the logical continuation of policies set up by previous presidential administrations, and to think Biden wouldn't simply continue these policies in the same manner as Obama is laughable. Biden was Obama's vice president after all.
You know, Biden being in power will be the same as the Obama days, but under Obama, gay marriage was federally legalized, and under Trump, trans people were indefinitely banned from serving in the military. I think there's a pretty tangible difference there.
Like Trump, Biden is a sexual predator, with several active lawsuits against him in this regard. Biden voted for the war in Iraq. He is in favor of aggressive diplomacy with Iran. He was in...
Is several? I'm pretty sure Biden has one accusation. Wait. Biden sexual assault allegations. He has one. Yeah, everything here is about Tara Reid, and even AOC is calling it out like it's probably not too reliable. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is him doing it again. Also, they bring up the Iraq War thing. Yeah, he voted for the Iraq War. Who gives a shit? The Iraq War isn't happening right now. It's 2020. Isn't like what? Okay. I'm sorry. This is fucking stupid. I hate tankies. I hate them. Class reductionists and tankies. Like, the Iraq War isn't like a relevant issue right now. Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's true. After 9/11, everybody was in favor of the Iraq War and government. You're 100% fucking right. That was the thing. Like, everybody had to appeal to people's like fear on 9/11 and be like 9/11 whenever they're on the stage. Everybody was not Bernie, of course. Bernie's our perfect little angel, and we love him more than anything. We give him big hugs. He's our beautiful boy. But literally everybody in government, the Democrats and the Republicans, were in favor of the Iraq War because you fucking had to be. All right.
In favor of the unilateral bombing of Libya.
And even if Biden like went up on stage and said the Iraq War was good, and if I could go back in time, I'd do it again. Even if he went up on stage and he said that, guess what? Well, yeah, but France and Canada didn't get 9/11 to alkalini nuts. Yeah, I like, even if he went like said he'd go back in time and do it again, I would still be like, all right, well, the Iraq War isn't a relevant issue today. We need to talk about the issues today, not issues from like 10 years ago. But God, it would be longer than 10 years ago, right? The Iraq War started in 2002 or 2001 when 9/11 happened. Oh my God, it's been like 17 years, almost 20 years. Yeah, 2003. Guys, we're talking about issues that happened 18 years ago in regards to an election today, and trying to justify allowing a fascist to take power or continue to hold power.
Is a self-proclaimed Zionist, meaning he is pro-apartheid and genocide. He has played a leading role in the arbitrary imprisonment of countless working class.
Hold on, guys. One in chat if you hate Israel. We all hate Israel. This isn't a hot take. But almost everybody in our government has to be Zionist. Republican or Democrat. Israel is a big-time ally of the U.S. We keep a lot of our troops and a lot of our military infrastructure stationed there. And generally Americans are pretty pro-Israel. Like, most Americans are really pro-Israel. Free Palestine, of course, but most Americans are pro-Israel. It fucking sucks, but unfortunately that's the case. You can't come out as anti-Israel, because then guess what happens? Hey guys, guess what happens if you come out as anti-Israel? Do you guys know what happens if you're critical of Israel? Do you guys know what happens if you're critical of Israel as a politician? What happened to Jeremy Corbyn? You guys remember what happened to Jeremy Corbyn? You get slandered as an anti-Semite. You can't be vocally anti-Israel as like an American politician. You'll be smeared as an anti-Semite and deplatformed. You'll never get anywhere. You have to either leave the issue of Israel alone or be like, yeah, whatever, yeah, Israel's fine.
Class people as a champion of the war on drugs, voted for the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, which leads to the construction of more prisons, increased prison sentences, and increasing the number of cops on the streets. He is an advocate of gun control, although if you are liberal, I suppose you think that's a good thing. He was a co-sponsor of the Employee Free Choice Act, which was a bill that works to effectively castrate unions in the United States. He voted in favor of NAFTA and the offshoring of...
What is the point of this? I can list things that are bad about Biden all day, and then I can list things that are bad about Trump all day. We have to compare their issues. So he's going to have to start defending Trump. That's the issue. When's he going to start? I want to see him defend Trump. He's got to do it to justify this. He's got to start defending Trump.
Of American jobs in the 1990s. He has been advocating for gutting Social Security for decades. And by the way, he's terrible on social issues as well. He was in favor of outlawing homosexuals serving in the U.S. military. He was a...
No, he wasn't. All right, so... He wasn't. He was in favor of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which at the time, when gay people were going to be not allowed in the military, that was a pretty progressive stance to have back then. Being in favor of don't ask, don't tell, when the overwhelming majority of like people pushing for this whole issue were just no gay people allowed in the military. When that was an issue, in Biden was for don't ask, don't tell. That was a pretty progressive position to hold. That was, yeah.
Segregationist and carried water for the Ku Klux Klan back during the Civil Rights era, Biden has been a long supporter of the Hyde.
Okay. That was in the fucking 60s. Are we really bringing up shit from the 60s? Listen, Bernie is fucking awesome. Back in the 60s, he was marching with the desegregationists. Vosh is live in 17 minutes. You want to be late because he's gonna eat bread? He might be late. All right, Vermin. I'm rushing. I'm trying to finish this up, okay? I'm almost done. We're probably not gonna watch this whole video because it's pretty long and he's very, very stupid. And I don't know how much of this my brain can take, because when I see Bernie or Busters, it makes me ashamed to be a leftist. It actually makes me upset. I'm not even kidding. I'm genuinely ashamed of leftists. I feel ashamed to be a leftist when I see people like this. 2 times speed? Yeah, we need these arguments at 2 times speed. I'm ready. Prepare yourselves. Here we go.
Amendment, which bars government funding for women's abortions except in the case of rape. But of course, Biden's more socially progressive nowadays, isn't he? Too bad he wasn't socially progressive decades ago when it actually mattered. No, only that...
Wait. Too bad he wasn't socially progressive back then when it actually mattered. I'm sorry, but when one option is a guy who's socially progressive now but wasn't in the past, and a guy who isn't socially progressive now and is in fact socially extremely regressive and is a fascist now, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with the guy who's socially progressive now but was kind of a dickhead in the past. It does matter now, you fucking dumbass.
That these positions are mainstream, and it's politically convenient to be pro-abortion, pro-LGBT, and a non-segregationist. Has he changed his stances? In other words,
that's debatable. I mean, the president isn't. The president of the United States, the current guy in power, isn't in favor of any of those things. So, I mean, that's definitely debatable. But if we want to go down that line of logic, yeah. As I said at the start of the stream, electoralism has never been the way in which we achieve substantial, political progressive change in this country. What we have to do as progressives is use electoralism to prevent fascism from taking power, because fascism can come to power through electoralism, and we can use electoralism to stop it, while the status quo is somewhat maintained, and maybe a few big jumps through electoralism are made. You know, gay marriage being federally legalized is a big one that happened under Obama, you know? From there, we use direct action and protest and infiltrate, and having leftists infiltrate the government and make change it and break it down from the inside and rebuild it. You know, we got like the Squad, AOC, probably, you know, one of the most well-known and well-loved politicians ever now at this point. Like, everyone fucking loves her besides like right-wing conservatives that just want to fuck her and have like a hate boner for her. The Squad in general, Bernie Sanders, like, we've got a pretty big leftist populist movement going on right now. All we need to do is keep the fascist out of power so he doesn't fucking kill more brown people and more trans people while he's in power, or just more Americans in general, this whole coronavirus thing, so that people aren't dying, like minorities aren't just dying in mass as much as they would be under the status quo, while we try to push things more to the left. I don't think we should just let the electoral side fall to fascism while we all sit there and grandstand like we're, oh, guys, we can just sit there and grandstand about how we're such good leftists, how we're too pure to vote, and we're not gonna sacrifice our principles and elect Joe Biden, a doddering old. Okay, fuck off. God damn it! I had my phone plugged in. It kept unplugging and plugging back in and setting off my computer's thing. We're too principled as leftists to vote for Joe Biden, the neoliberal status quo candidate. We're real leftists. We're just gonna abstain from voting and let the fascists stay in power for 4 more years. Because then, as you know, trans people are being hung and murdered in the streets, and you know, children are being brown people are being rallied up and brought to the border, and their children are dying and starving to death and dying of disease and sleeping on concrete floors in cages in massive fucking quantities. We can sit back and say, well, I didn't vote for either of them, so technically it's not my fault, because I didn't vote. I'm a true leftist. I don't engage with any of that electoral politics. I'm sorry. Bernie or busters are fucking subhuman to me. I'm gonna say it. If you're Bernie or bust and you're watching this right now, and you're not willing to vote for Biden over Trump, fuck you. Unsub from me. Fuck you. You don't care about minorities. You're willing to let a fascist stay in power, and a significant amount of my fans and my community that are trans, gay, or just any type of minority, their lives are literally on the line with this election. And you being willing to allow Trump to stay in power for 4 more years is putting their lives on the line. I'm not affected by Trump getting reelected. Actually, I am affected. I make more money if Trump gets reelected. Do you guys know that? 4 more years of Trump means 4 more years of content for me. That's it. I'm gonna be making decent enough money by the end of this year if Trump gets reelected. I should, at least at this rate, I'll have grown to the point where I'll be fine if Trump gets reelected. I'm not gonna be poor. I'm not brown. I'm a straight white male. I'm gonna be fine. It's minorities that are going to suffer from another 4 more years of Trump. It's you privileged Bernie or busters that are going to allow that to happen. Seriously, bite the bullet, please. All you have to do, check a fucking box. Vote down ballot blue as well. Local elections are really important. Just keep the fascist out of power while we use direct action and on-the-ground advocacy to influence progressive change. Electoralism isn't about electing the guy that we think is going to make the biggest difference. It's about electing the guy that isn't going to lead us down the road to fascism while we push the entire country towards leftism. If you're Bernie or bust and you're watching this, please think harder. Don't think with your emotions. Think with your brain on this. What's important?